Hello, Jamie.
Hi, Kangana. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you.
First of all, thank you so much for joining me. And also, it's such an honor to interact with you. We have a channel called Tried&Refused Productions that tries to do unbiased takes on films. So it's such an honor to have you over here.
Thank you. I love your work and I know about your what all you do and you're very popular.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
you so much for giving me this opportunity.
No, that makes me emotional. But moving on, because we're and you're busy and short of time, I have to say congratulations on Thalaivii, Kangana. And I really have to say, for all fans and the people on the channel, especially, they felt that, especially when it was announced that you were doing the film, that everybody felt this was going to be your biggest financial success. And now the fact that, the producers are taking the plunge with theaters, they're sort of reviving movies and cinema in way which is so inspirational. What is your overall feeling around this, the circumstances that the creators have adapted to now?
Mhm. Look, there is no, uh, like a straight feeling to it. It's a mix of many feelings. Where we started and how Talaivi, when we were filming, we had a different idea of the way it will be launched and perceived. The biggest budget film ever and made in three languages. And again, I'm coming into Telugu film industry and all that. And then of course the first wave hit us and then we were about to come on 23rd of April of this year. Still we made it. We shot the film, half the film through the pandemic, and we made it. And then the second wave came around that time. The things looked very bleak, and I have to tell you that the films were not everybody's priority. Even the people who work in films, even they didn't have films as their priority. I myself got infected.
Mm,
And after that, now where we are and how we're doing things, uh, to be honest, everything is a bonus
mhm.
after that. We are coming to theaters. My film is releasing. I am getting to interact with people. I'm getting to see myself on screen. The theater was, full of people yesterday,
Mhm.
last night when we had a screening, and it just felt so good. We're promoting after so many years, and um, it seems, all in all, it seems very good. But at the same time, if you compare to what it could have been and what um, it is a little unfair because you can always find reasons to be unhappy and ungrateful.
Mhm.
So I refrain from those kind of comparisons. I mean, it can only lead you to a hopeless place. I
True.
look at it like that, see, I'm still able to, my producers are able to recover the huge amount, huge
Mhm.
cost, and yet have the promise of coming to theaters to be able to witness the film, which was meant to be a theatrical experience, even though on a limited level,
Yeah.
even 50% occupancy, even though without Maharashtra. My own family, I don't know where will I show them the film who are in
Mhm.
Mumbai. Even though multiplex is not releasing in Hindi belt, yet I think there is a lot to be thankful for.
A lot to be thankful for, and we're, for whatever limited release, we're really looking forward to it in theaters. I have to say, Kangna, when I've seen multiple interviews of you talking about the character, especially Jaya. Jaya is an individual that, through circumstances, found herself in a male-dominated space. I understand from your interviews that you were a little apprehensive first to do the role because you said that you still wanted to get accustomed to Tamil politics and the film industry in general. I would it be fair to say though that you resonate with the tenacious quality of her personality to still persevere despite having so many obstacles?
She's a larger than life figure. There is no doubt about it. And anybody who gets the opportunity uh, to live up to that kind of greatness, even if it is on silver screen, is a fortunate individual. But for me, there were many obstacles, and one of them were that they were trying to track the journey from 16 to 42. And when they came to me, I was already 32.
Mm-hmm.
And by gaining weight and by trying to be like Jayama, not necessarily at that age, gaining weight will only add more age to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, have I missed the bus, or can I still do it? And there were many doubts in me about it. And of course, Jayama's craft. If there you have to draw parallel somewhere like Vajanti Mala or Hema Malini, and they are great Bharatanatyam dancers, and um, overall persona was very mainstream,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and hugely celebrated. Whereas I come from more of I'm a child of parallel cinema, and
Mm.
so there were many on many levels. There were doubts that I had, but it was too tempting an offer
True.
to let these doubts creep into and affect my decision.
Mm-hmm. Kangna, I felt with biopics, what happens is you've often spoken about the portrayal of real life characters and how certain films tend to transition to become sort of whitewashing to suit narratives. Has it been a conscious decision by the creators to try their best in an honest portrayal of a life of Jaya ma'am, to do justice to what that life was?
I think it is a very limited way of looking at an individual.
Mm-hmm.
An individual is not an adjective in entirety or in absolutely, right?
Yeah.
It can't be an absolute adjective that this person was bad or this person was good. We are very good in so many aspects, and yet we can have very human limitations to ourselves. And when you are making a film on someone's life,
Mm-hmm.
and especially when they are not there to defend and give their side of the story, the only approach one must have is of absolute empathy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the only way to approach art, by dissecting or by scrutinizing their actions, especially not even have their permission.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to say that no, we've tried to show all shades of her. This film is to only celebrate Thalaivii, and
Mm.
we have no other approach, and we can't dare to.
True, true, true. No, no, that is completely understandable. I've also noticed or have been really interested, Kangana, as for you as an artist. I've always wondered. So whenever viewers look at biopics, they either tend to see it go into two extremes, either a mimicry of the individual, which is extremely surface level, or somebody who encapsulates the personality and makes it their own. With all the footage that is available of Jaya ma'am and the kind of content that's available, I've always wondered, how are you as an actor? Are you method completely where you sink your teeth into the role, or you do your homework and then you're confident when you come on set with your craft?
I am more into method.
Mm-hmm.
I I like to get completely into the character and then do not detach myself from it. And that's why I love to work on one thing at a time,
Mm-hmm.
because I can't afford to bring distance with the character and then try and suddenly switch on and switch off. That doesn't work for me. So I am more like that, but yet I don't go into extreme ways.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you have to go in extreme ways only because you're finding it hard to be one with the character. There have been times when I've gone to really extreme ways, like
Mm-hmm.
for example, depends how much distance do I feel from the character. If I feel too much distance, I try and you know be much more on my toes and not let myself reflect in my own life and be at it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I feel not very uncomfortable, I know I've got them and they're with me, and I'm kind of tap into it anytime. Then it's very comfortable for me. Some characters are very testing and some are not that testing.
Mm. Very interesting, because I've always thought about your process. So it comes as a good surprise that you alternate depending on the how the character is. I've Kangna, also in an interview you spoke about how consistently that you felt that at least with mainstream media, you felt discredited or ignored as sort of a game changer when it comes to women in films. You've been sort of like very vocal about consciously not doing roles where women are insignificant, and these are like big commercial films. Um, they say with great power comes great responsibility. So, is this sense of respect or equality for women in the workplace something that you want to consistently work towards and strive for in the future?
Yeah, sure. because I think, to be honest, we it's a limited perception if we think that we can rise on our own. Unless every woman doesn't rise, no woman can rise.
Mm-hmm.
And, today, whatever I started with, the gifts that I got from the women before me and the limitations, they were all, I inherited everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I would want to, give a better path, a legacy to women after me. So then it's not a struggle for a Kangana Ranaut to come up,
Mm-hmm.
or it's not a struggle for a woman to make her place in men's world. And people will be like, yeah, I mean, they've been doing it, right? It's not something new. So we can only rise together, not individually.
I've been very interested, especially when you gave your speech. I remember when you were talking about Vijay sir, you got a bit emotional because you were saying that, it was the first time that somebody didn't make you feel apologetic about your talent, and somebody made you feel good about your talent. It makes me wonder, in the last year and a half, 2 years, actually, people have become privy to Tamil, Telugu, and Malayalam cinema so much and have been singing praises of it. What has been the biggest difference for you working in the Tamil industry compared to the years that you've spent in the Hindi film industry?
It's been absolute pleasure,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it is yet I'm just getting into it. I have a very superficial outlook at it. When I'm a part of it, I will have more intricate understanding of it. But right now what I feel is that what is very striking about regional cinema is that they at least find some common grounds, right? There is one common ground that they really resonate with, like there are millions, and that's something that they resonate with. And they make movies, and I saw so many good directors last night being there for Vijay sir, and the way they were happy for him and the way they responded, they weren't fake, and there is at least some common ground. Whereas in Hindi films, because we're all migrated to Mumbai, and there is so much diversity there, and there is so much, yet there is a bit of a, I don't know, tension always. You're Marathi and you're North Indian, and then there you're Sindhi, and then you're the insider and the outsider, and then of course everybody wants to pull everybody down. That's not helping at all. So it's become such a toxic place that somehow nobody is happy for another person, and we are not able to find a common ground we can identify with. I think somewhere we've got to find one common ground so that we don't get carried away, swayed with petty human emotions, and learn from regional cinema. And they find just one common ground, and look where they are today, because
Yeah.
they have a sense of unity, a collective purpose, and of course some kind of a place where there is no love, no empathy, and no sense of camaraderie, no sense of compassion. You can only imagine how toxic that place is going to be. Whereas regional cinema is rising, going higher and higher, and we are also seeking some kind of place
Mm-hmm.
in a place which is flourishing like that, and where people are so wonderful to each other. I hope it remains like that, and too many people coming in here don't ruin it.
I this makes me just ask you, Kangna. Like, I remember you from gangster to Thalaivii. Now, like I consider you starting at the industry when it was considered to be the wild, wild west, when it was literally no structure to the industry of how films were being made and how people were getting roped in. There's so many aspirational individuals that I come across on the channel who speak about Mumbai. I wonder what was probably, if you can think about it, that kept you going for so many years, because that is a very unforgiving city.
Yes. Yeah, like you said, in those days when I started out, there were no casting agents, right? There were no proper casting process. There was no Mukesh Chabra's office set up in every state, and there were no OTTs to launch actors, and it was a very difficult time. What kept me going is multiple factors, but I wouldn't want to take any credit
Mm-hmm.
for the fact that I kept at it. To be honest, what was my another option? Like I closed all my doors and I was desperate. It was literally do or die. Unless that desperation doesn't hit a human being, it is impossible to penetrate through the wall of China of film industry.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that has kept me going. Survival instinct, I would say. Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Lastly, Kangna, I would just want to say, what would be your message in terms of people who are going to storm into theaters in 5 days on 10th of September? What would be your message to them on the takeaway that they should take from a movie like Thalaivii?
Um, we are all fans of Thalaivii, and she has been such a, you know, explosive and inspiring and amazing person in the history of in the current, I mean, recent history of Indian cinema and plot politics. So this film is just to celebrate that brilliance and that story, which was so unusual and so there is something so wonderful about the screenplays that God writes. There are
Mm-hmm.
so many that are so wonderful, um, but they're all true. There is not even one exaggerated thing in the film. They're
Mm-hmm.
all proper. If anything, we have had to remove so many instances, and so many things that has happened in a span of her life. It's remarkable how life can, can turn out for individuals. Like she hated films, she hated politics, and then she ended up becoming who she was. And why did that happen is precisely what the film is about. I think it'll give us a nice perspective in life,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe we will end up learning a lot from her, how she took everything head on and eventually became a winner, in the situations where she had only to lose. So, something like that, I think. Yeah. You tell me how you liked it after. I would like to know from your
No, no,
review.
no, 100%. I'm really looking forward to it. And again, congratulations, Kangana, for the release. Please take care.
Thank you. Thank you, Anmol.